What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from International Racing League F1 2019 on the PS4 platform. This is F2, round 19 at Hungary, and we're coming off a very exciting Russian Grand Prix from last week. But first, let's run down our driver list as we get ready to do an 18-minute short qualifying session followed by a 50% race. Next is Clone in the McLaren is going to be championship contender Jared Fosbury, currently running second in points. In the factory Renault is Eric Pettington, part-time driver with F1 speed, looking to pick up his 7th win of the season. Shay Fox is going to be TSR Fishy in the Red Bull Racing, coming off of 3 straight podium finishes. Can he do it again today? James Al is going to be James Hallworth, followed by Sean O'Sullivan. Felix Negwer joining us today. Jack Yates, Kevin Harrison, Paco Suarez back in the cockpit. James Yack. Perel X is Callum Jones making his IRL debut. And Thomas Mumford will also be racing again with us today. And coming off of round 18 in Russia, Eric Pettington came home with another pole position to add to his tally. He's got 5 pole positions on the year. He walked away with the win. It was his 6th win of the season. Kevin Harrison, your championship points leader, came home second with his 9th podium of the year. And Shay Fox, as we said, 3 podiums in a row for him. Sean O'Sullivan came home 4th. Luis Wassman ran a good race, had a little bit of contact late in the going as he was battling for the lead with Eric Pettington, came home 5th after some wing damage. Jared Fosbury dropped from 6th after making contact early on in the race. Jack Yates had a terrible race going for him, ran in the back most of the day. He came home 7th. Thomas Mumford, who led the race after the safety car in round 18 in Sochi, came home 8th. James Yack was 9th, and then 10th and 11th was Wei Lu and Steph Christensen, both picking up their first DNFs of the season. And there was a 12th driver who was scheduled to run last week. That was Harry Cooper, and he inadvertently and unexpectedly quit the league. So Harry Cooper nowhere to be found, and no one has heard from him since. Harry Cooper was 6th in points. Currently still is categorized 6th in points. He's got 80 points to his credit. He'll finish the season out with 1 win, 4 podiums, 1 pole position, and 6 DNFs to his credit. So much for Harry Cooper. And got Shay Fox chiming in on the live chat. Looks like weather's going to be dry, and more dry here in Hungary. So as the point standings go, Kevin Harrison, who came home with his 9th podium finish of the season last week, is current points leader, 258 points to his credit. He's followed by Jared Fosbury, 216. Fosbury is not mathematically out of the championship battle, but he pretty much seceded last week and said that he's probably not going to be able to take the fight to Harrison due to the points gap and due to Eric Pettington, who has F1 caliber speed. Jack Yates is currently 3rd in points with 199, and Pettington, who's a part-time driver, looks like he'll be able to make the rest of the races this season. Currently 170 points to his credit, so he could overtake Jack Yates in the point standings. Luis Wassman's been making a good run as of late. Couple of good points finishes, and that's moved him up into 5th in points with 96 as we see some of the guys heading out on their outlap. We've got Rice Man 12, that's Reese March from SRL. He'll be making his 2nd IRL race today, and he's been honing his craft. He's been working on using a steering wheel at home, so his pace has been a little bit off compared to his pad driving, but we'll see what he can do today. And as we mentioned, Harry Cooper is 6th in points. Jorge Correa, who we've yet to see in a long time, pretty much going to, at this point, assume that he is done for the season, will be 7th in points currently. He has 78 points to his credit. Daniel Tamberg, who was banned from the league after round 12 at Japan, causing a huge collision with Jared Fosbury, 71 points. Daniel Tamberg, 1 win and 1 DNF to his credit for this year. He actually kicked off the season with a win at Silverstone in spectacular fashion in the wet. Unfortunately, he has gone. Adrian Storm, 9th in points, another driver that is no longer with us as he retired after battling a wrist injury and subpar finishes. He will walk away with 1 podium finish to his credit for this year. And Shay Fox rounding out top 10 in points with 3 podium finishes in a row. So the grid has changed a lot from the opening part of this season to now. I mean, the top 5 drivers are all current drivers, and then 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th are all drivers that are no longer with us. And then you have some drivers that have been with us, but unfortunately have not been able to put together some good finishes. Paco Suarez, James Hallworth, James Yacht. These are all guys that have been with us most of the year, but unfortunately have had a string of bad luck, poor finishes, and haven't been able to put points on the board. Paco Suarez, one of those drivers, as Callum Jones is the first driver to set a time in the Williams at a 1:18.219 on the hard tires. You'll have to forgive me, I'm still battling a bit of illness. Throat is still bothering me. Jared Fosbury comes across the line 1:17.807. And I'm back. Eric Pettington comes across the line, obviously well off the pace, 1:22.533 on the hard tires as well. Pick up Shea Fox. Looks like Fox is going to come across the line, set his first hot lap at a 1:18.315, good enough for third. And Jared Fosbury, 1:17.807. Pick up Jack Yates. And he is well off the pace coming across the line. 1:25.523. Looks like he doesn't want to show his hand just yet. Had a good time going on the soft tires. So probably just trying to come to grips with what the soft tire is going to be like. He'll probably set his actual hot lap on maybe the hards due to maybe a little bit of a tire strategy. Paco Suarez did come across the line 1:25.62, good enough for 6 so far. And this qualifying session's already got 5 minutes gone, 13 minutes left to play. We've got Kevin Harrison currently on an out lap. He's on the soft tires as well. Your championship points leader, and he could pretty much all but wrap it up. Not 100% sure if he could close out the championship today. I think I heard some information about that earlier this week, that he was able, depending on how it finishes, if he wins, and Jared Fosbury has a pad finish, that he could wrap up this championship today. But we'll see how that goes. Anything can happen here in IRL, and anything has happened so far this year. Currently watching your championship points leader, Kevin Harrison, on his hot lap. First one of the day. Put some lap data up for everybody. Oh, and he cut that chicane a little tight. We'll see if that invalidates his time as he comes across the line here. Currently in Sector 2. Nothing but clear skies in Hungary today. Runs very wide coming out of that corner. Missed the apex. Runs 4 off in the corner. And Sean O'Sullivan just went to the top of the charts with a 1:16.982 in the Haas. And Harrison, your points leader, is going to dive into the pits and not finish that lap. We'll pick up O'Sullivan just to give you a shot there. You came across the line. Currently provisional pole. Not sure if the Mercedes behind him is on a hot lap. These two look like they're actually racing here on the qualifying. And Ollie Flavel wanted to know why he was on softs. I'm assuming that was maybe in relation to Jack Yates, who set a time of 1:25 on soft tires. And he may just want to set up the car for the softs, but not qualify on the softs. He may want to use an alternate tire strategy and qualify on the hards, but wants to make sure the car's set up for the soft tires. So Jack Yates may run a long first stint on hards. He's currently still in the pits. And this would be Paco Suarez, following O'Sullivan in the Haas as they both dive into the pits. 10 minutes left to play in the session. We've got 3 drivers yet to set a time. Kevin Harrison, James Jock, and Felix Negwer. Pick up Jared Fosbury. There you see your tire data there. So Jared Fosbury set his fastest time on the hard tires, it looks like. Well, that's not necessarily true. He's on the hard tire. I mean, here in IRL, we don't necessarily run a practice session. I mean, I know a lot of guys do private testing throughout the course of the week, but you can also use the 18-minute qualifying session as a semi-practice session to get a feel for the tires and the suspension setup on the different compounds. And obviously, they use the part ferme rule, so once you leave the pits, there's only so many adjustments you can make after coming back in. And it looks like Jared Fosbury's still off the pace a little bit. And you'll have to forgive me if you hear me go quiet every once in a while. It's because I'm hacking my head off and struggling with a sore throat and a cough that won't go away. I was recovering from pneumonia last week. And oh, Jared Fosbury comes up on the backside of Felix Negwer's Ferrari, almost rear-ends him. And I'm not sure if Fosbury was on a true hot lap. He was off the pace of his previous best time. And we will pick up Felix Negwer, who is yet to set a time. And he's out on the medium tires. Trying to get the power down on that Ferrari. Looks like he's struggled with a little bit of rear end grip coming out of turn 1. Down turn 3, up the hill to turn 4. You got this corner here. You definitely want to stay off of that curbing. That curbing there on the inside of that curb will definitely throw the car around into the chicane. Ooh, goes 4 off there, very wide. Penultimate corner, this very loopy left-hander. To the tight right-hander. And he will come across the line 1:17.249, good enough for second quickest so far. Sean O'Sullivan is still your provisional pole sitter, the only driver to break into the 1:16s. And Eric Penton just came across the line. We're getting ready to pick him up 1:17.183. And that is on hard tires. That is a very fast time on hards. Now here's the tire data for your best lap, set on which tire. And Penton has set his best time so far to 1:17.183 on hard tires. Oh man, I am really struggling today with this throat. We get a lot of drivers in the 1:17s as Callum Jones goes second quickest now with a 1:17.032. Good for him. Felix Negwer heading into the pits will pick up Paco Suarez. And Fosbury stating that he was 3/10 up on his time when he got to the backside of Felix Negwer at the penultimate corner on his hot lap. So 3/10 definitely would have helped him. That have moved him up to at least the 5th spot. So Fosbury's definitely got more speed in his McLaren that he can muster out of it. Paco Suarez currently 5th quickest, 1:17.590. It looks like he's going to dive into the pits. Pick up Thomas Mumford, and looks like there was a caution in Sector 2, and it must have been him because he is missing his front wing. Mumford, who showed some speed last week and actually led the race for a little while due to a pit sequence and a safety car. A lot of guys dived into the pits. He stayed out, and he managed to run up front for a few laps. Unfortunately, he came home 8th at the end of the day due to being off sequence, but definitely showed he's got some speed in the car. Now we've got Jack Yates out on track. Sorry, this is Kevin Harrison out on track, who's yet to set a time. He's the only driver yet to set a time so far. Kevin Harrison going to come across the line. 1:17.409, good enough for 5th quickest on the hard tires. Three minutes left to play in the session. And James Hallworth just comes across the line, 1:17.520, good enough for 6th. And James Yock heading into the pits. Reese March has retired from the session. Looks like he's had an off. It looks like he is struggling. Kevin Harrison is retired from the session. And countdown, 2 minutes left to play, actually 2:15, so we're about to get real busy here on track. Sean O'Sullivan is still on provisional pole and still the only driver into the 1:16s. Yellow flags are flying in Sector 3 for Reese March and Jack Yates, pulling their cars off to the side. They're both calling it a day. 2-minute warning. We've got Callum Jones, Eric Pettington, Felix Negwer, all on outlaps, as is Jared Fosbury and Thomas Mumford. And O'Sullivan showed some prowess last week as well, coming home 4th. There were some real amazing 4-car battles going on in Sochi last week. Definitely a race worth watching. Sochi doesn't make for much racing in real life, but last week in IRL, it was unbelievable. The same can be said for Hungary. Hungary's a very narrow, even though it's a more traditional F1 track, it's still very narrow, very much one groove, one racing line. So O'Sullivan comes across the line to start what's going to be his last hot lap. Shay Fox goes 1:16.903. And Shay Fox is going to call it a day. He's going to retire from the session. He's good enough. He's sitting on provisional pole. We're currently watching Sean O'Sullivan, who was your provisional pole sitter for the longest time. O'Sullivan went through the chicane. Getting some radio chatter from Reese March, kicking himself in the butt. He's telling himself not to hit the curb, and then he hit the curb. Currently watching O'Sullivan. Oh, and O'Sullivan's going to pull off and call it a day. So we'll pick up Callum Jones, who comes sliding out of that corner. Looks like he might have Eric Pettington in front of him. And Jones here, you see in the background, goes off into the grass. We're currently watching Eric Pettington, currently 5th quickest. Pettington coming out of the last corner now, going to try and put the power down. Does he have anything for Shea Fox's time? 1:16.531 to the top of the charts by 0.4 of a second. O'Sullivan is done. James Hallworth currently 5th quickest. Here we go. Back of Felix Negwer is coming out of the last corner now. Time is up. Hot laps will count. And Negwer is going to be off the pace. 1:17 flat, good enough for 5th. That bumps James Hallworth down. And Sean O'Sullivan is disqualified from the session. He's parked in a dangerous location. And it looks like Hallworth is going to call it a day. Oh, and Paco Suarez goes 2nd quickest, 1:16.766. So that drops Shea Fox to 3rd. And it doesn't look like any other drivers are on track. And Sean O'Sullivan, who had that great qualifying time, disqualified. He will start at the end of the pack. 13th position. So for a guy who was sitting on provisional pole for most of this race, just ruined it for himself. And Fosbury said he was held up by Williams as well. That would be possibly Reese March or Callum Jones. So here is your starting order. This is Eric Pettington starting on pole position again. This followed by Paco Suarez, Shea Fox, Callum Jones, James Yock, Felix Negwer, James Hallworth, Jared Fosbury, Kevin Harrison, Thomas Mumford, Reese March, Jack Yates, and Sean O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan's coming across the radio saying that his pedals uncalibrated from his rig, so he didn't have any control of the car. He couldn't make it go, couldn't make it stop. So that was unfortunate for him. Hopefully he can get that straightened out before the race starts here in the next few seconds. So we'll wait for the grid to reset, and that is Eric Pettington sitting on pole position again for the 6th time this season. 13 cars rounding out your lineup today. Average car count this year has been about 12, so this is pretty average for IRL. And again, we talked a little bit earlier about how different the grid is from now. Well, from now as it was at the beginning of the season. I mean, the 6th through 9th in points are all drivers that are no longer with us, unfortunately. But Shea Fox, who is with us, came in very late in the season. I think his debut was at Spa. And he's shown obviously some good speed here the last few races. So we're going to do the formation lap. Eric Pettington starting on pole position for the 6th time this year. He'll be looking to pick up his 7th win. But he'll be followed by Paco Suarez, who is unfortunately leading the league in DNFs, but showing some great speed today. Suarez has 10 DNFs to his credit this year. He'll be looking to finish the race and hopefully finish on the podium. And Shea Fox, coming off of 3 straight podium finishes, can he make it a 4th? Callum Jones starting in the 4th spot, making his IRL F2 debut. Showed some speed in qualifying. Can he work his way towards the front? And James Yock with a great qualifying effort, one of his best qualifyings of the year, starting in 5th spot. Could he work his way towards the front, maybe get a podium finish? And Felix Negwer starting in the 6th position, missed out last week. He's got F1 speed. He was a F1 2017 champion. He'll be looking to try to work his way to the front and hopefully pick up a podium spot. He'll be followed by James Hallworth in the 7th position. Hallworth will be looking to put some points on the board for Red Bull. And Jared Fosbury, your championship points contender in the McLaren, no longer has a teammate. Harry Cooper done and gone. He's got no help out on track. He'll be starting in the 8th spot, be looking to work his way towards the front. But he is followed by a championship points leader, Kevin Harrison, as he's got quite the points lead. He'll be looking to work his way towards the front as well. Thomas Mumford led the race last week for a little while. Could he do it again? See if a safety car comes out and hopefully maybe gives him a hand. Reese March starting in the 11th spot. He'll be looking to try and put some points on the board. Still new to IRL and still new to a wheel. We'll see if he can put some points on the board as he starts 11th today. Jack Yates starting in the 12th spot. currently third in points, as we see Paco Suarez is going around. Currently third in the point standings, but dangerously getting close to losing that third spot to Eric Pettington. And Sondre Sorhaug, who we just heard had pedal troubles with his rig that came uncalibrated. He was running very fast lap times in qualifying, lost the calibration on the pedals. Car was parked in a dangerous area. He's going to start from the back. He's got speed. Can he work his way through the field and maybe towards the front? He's got 35 laps to figure it out. And it will be interesting to see at the start of this race if his car actually does go. Now, he did do a formation lap, so he must have that figured out for now. Waiting on the 5 red lights. Lights are out. Time to run with LeBrun, and they're away in a puff of smoke. And a good start by Eric Pettington. Now they're 4 wide behind him for second spot, and it's not going to work. 4 into 1. Suarez is going to come out on top for the second spot, but here comes Callum Jones to the inside to try and take third. And we've got some shuffling going on in the back here. This is James Hallworth on the inside of the on the racing point of Thomas Mumford. Mumford gains the spot. Pushed wide is Felix Negwer. He's into the grass. Got a lot of shuffling going on in the back. Here we go. Jack Yates now has gotten around Jared Fosbury. Fosbury with a very poor start. And he's lost out to the 2 Alfa Romeos that he's battling in the points. And now Jack Yates is going to be in front of him. He can hold up Fosbury. And O'Sullivan does seem to have control of his car. He is running dead last right now in 13th as Reese March runs very wide coming out of that corner. And while all that has unfolded on, we got a car going around. That is Kevin Harrison. Some argy-bargy going on there. Jack Yates is 4 car down. Look at the Williams pushes Harrison wide. And Harrison is going to dive into the pits. Jared Fosbury has wing damage on the left front end plate. Sean O'Sullivan's going to pick up spot, and Reese March picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding into pit lane. Meanwhile, Paco Suarez is holding on to second spot. He's followed by Callum Jones. Eric Pettington is your leader out in front by a second over the rest of this group. So we've got Paco Suarez, Eric Pettington, and James Yock running in 4th spot. Good start for him in the 5th spot. Moved up 1 place in the 4th. And then there's a little bit of a gap back to Felix Negwer and Thomas Mumford. Meanwhile, Shay Fox is closing in on Mumford for the 6th spot. This is your closest battle on track right this second. And they'll be starting lap 3, so the DRS will be enabled. Paco Suarez is actually in DRS range. We look at the back of his car. And he's just outside of Paco. Oh, Paco Suarez just ran the fastest lap. And James Hallworth dives into the pit. That's going to move Jack Yates up a spot. Felix Negwer dives to the inside of James Yock. James Yock trying to come back to a crossover move. Oh no, and there's contact! James Yock into the back of Felix Negwer. Negwer saves it. And then you get into this very tight section here as you come off of turn 4 and into the sector 2. And James Yock is trying real hard, but here comes Shay Fox. And Shay Fox is in the middle of a racing point sandwich, and he's the meat. Shay Fox wants to get that 5th spot and be a piece of bread and move up. He dives to the inside. It's a drag race down into the right-hander. He's got the more preferred line. Using the curving a little bit, but here comes the still side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel action. James Yock's going to try to hold him off, push him a little bit wide. They're still side-by-side as they come out of the corner. Fox is going to have the more preferred line, swinging back around to the front stretch. Yock is going to Get the position away, and he's going to use the DRS advantage as they head down toward turn 1. I don't see the DRS slots open on these cars. Oh, and James Jacques tried to put the power down the back end, slid out on that, did a four-wheel drift there for a hot second. Meanwhile, Callum Jones is still working on the backside of Paco Suarez. Half-second gap in between them two. And Eric Pettington is only... Oh, Eric Pettington just cut that corner big time. And looks like Shay Fox has gotten around James Jacques. Well, we saw that happen. Now we've got Thomas Mumford working on his teammate. And James Hallworth picks up a 3-second time penalty. Hallworth currently running in the 10th spot. He's got Kevin Harrison and Jared Fosbury right behind him. DRS slot open for Mumford. And we've got James Hallworth and Kevin Harrison battling it out side by side, wheel to wheel action. They both go very wide. It looks like Fosbury thought about it. He should have. Oh, door was open. Going to try and get the 2-for-1 deal. And now it's a drag race. Oh, and he's going to get squeezed. Hallworth is going to squeeze him on the outside. Fosbury trying to stick with Harrison. That is your championship points battle. Hallworth trying to get a good finish and stick with this. And Harrison is on the medium tires. Fosbury on the hards. There you see your tire data. First 5 cars are all on medium tires. Then it's James Jacques and Thomas Mumford on softs. Jack Yates is on the medium tire. O'Sullivan is in the hard tire. And then Kevin Harrison and Jared Fosbury, that is medium and hard, as we see James Jacques dives into the pits now. So he'll be switching over. I'm sorry, that's James Jacques who's dived into the pits. Oh no, and around goes James Hallworth trying to get the power down coming out of that corner. He lost the back end. Here goes Reese March. He'll be able to make that pass very easily, move into the 12th spot. Mumford trying to not let Jack Yates get too far ahead of him. And this has been a crazy opening 6 laps to this race. And here we've got Callum Jones. This is the battle for second spot still going on. And look at this. Jones is almost in the gearbox of the Mercedes of Paco Suarez. Eric Pettington out in front by 2 seconds. I think he's just cruising right now. I'm pretty sure he's got more in the tank. But we're watching this battle for second here. And Jones is going to be all over the gearbox of the Mercedes. He's going to have the DRS advantage as they head down towards turn 1. You see Hallworth coming out of the pits. He'll be in front of Eric Pettington, another side by side. Jones is going to dive to the inside. And around the outside, Paco Suarez is able to hold that position. Good line by Paco Suarez to hold that position. Slams the door on Jones. As these two continue to battle it out. Oh no, and Suarez has gone around all by his lonesome. Paco Suarez with a mistake. Looks like he was feeling the pressure from Callum Jones and tried to put the power down a little early, caught a little bit of the curbing, and around he goes. He's broken the left part of the wing, and he's going to have to make an unscheduled pit stop. So that hands over second spot to Callum Jones. Now, does Callum Jones have anything for Eric Pettington? Eric Pettington out to a 3-second lead. But we're going to pick up the battle for what is now third. This is Felix Negwer being chased by Shay Fox. Fox looking for his 4th straight podium finish. And another rough outing for Paco Suarez. He dodged into the pits. He's going to come out somewhere, it looks like maybe the 8th spot. A mistake that was all his own, and Callum Jones does pick up a 3-second time penalty. Looks like Jones is really trying to push that car, see if he can close that gap to Eric Pettington. I don't think Jones knows just how fast Eric Pettington really is. I don't think he's shown his full hand so far this race. I think he's just kind of out front cruising right now. Pettington's shown unbelievable speed in the races that he's been with this year. And it's kind of a catch-22 with Eric Pettington. He started the season as a part-time driver. He's got basketball duties in real life that he has to take care of, playing and refereeing and whatnot. So he was not able to make the F1 races, which usually run on Saturdays around 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, my time. So he wasn't able to make those races, so they decided that he would be F2 as we look. Shay Fox has got the DRS slot open, not close enough to make a move on Felix Negwer. So they put Pettington in F2 because he could make the races, and they knew he wouldn't make all the races. Now, basketball season's coming to an end, and he's able to make more and more of these F2 races, and it's a catch-22 because we want Eric Pettington on track to help with the car count, but some of the drivers don't want Eric Pettington on the track because he's so fast. He's got F1 caliber speed, but he's still unable to make the F1 races. So it's a catch-22. Do we let him race because we need the car count, or do we not let him race because he's so fast? And it can be a little discouraging to the guys to run with somebody that's got F1 caliber speed like that. I mean, everybody wants to win, but I look at it like this. The only way you're going to get better is if you race with the best. You're only going to get better if you do it. Right now we're watching Shay Fox try and deal with somebody else who's got an F1 championship underneath his belt. Felix Negwer, who won the F1 championship a couple seasons ago in F1 2017 here at IRL. So he's got F1 caliber speed, but again, he had to change to F2 due to scheduling conflicts. As we look at Shay Fox, and look at it, Negwer makes a great defensive move down to the inside. Great move to hold off the charging Shay Fox, and now they're side by side to the next DRS zone, and Fox has got the inside line as they head down into that corner. It's going to be very tight coming out of here, but Shay Fox is going to be able to take the spot, and Eric Pettington's just picked up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. So the battle's not over. Felix Negwer is going to try and get that back from Shay Fox, I'm sure. Very slow through the chicane there. It looks like he lost a couple of car lengths coming out of there. Ooh, and Negwer with a big moment right there. A good save. Caught a little too much curbing in the back end. Almost came around on him. Now, Felix Negwer will have the DRS advantage heading down the front straight, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move. The front straightaway here is not very long. Oh, but he does try to get to the inside of Shay Fox late on the brakes. He's able to get around him. He's going to try and push him wide, but now Fox is going to have the more preferred line heading into the next corner. And Fox lets him go, and Negwer takes the spot back. I didn't think he'd be close enough to make that move, but he went late on the brakes, and I think he caught maybe Shay Fox off guard a little bit on that one. And if you're just tuning in, this is round 19 on F1 2019 for the PS4 platform. This is IRL. This is the F2 League. Currently watching the battle between Felix Negwer in third and Fox in fourth. They've swapped positions a couple times the last couple laps. This is your closest battle on track with the exception of Thomas Mumford battling it out with Jared Fosbury for the 10th spot. But we're going to stick with this battle here for the last spot on the podium. Fox looking to make it 4 podiums in a row, so we're at lap 11 of 35. Now Fox is going to have the DRS advantage as they head down the front straight. Is he going to be close enough to make a move? Right on board with him down the front stretch. Not close enough to make a move here. He'll have the DRS advantage again coming down the short chute down to the turn 2. Oh, and he's late on the brakes. He closes up the gap, but almost had to go offline. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. That is towards the backside of this track. And that may have been Thomas Mumford, as he just lost a huge chunk of time to Felix Negwer. We'll go back to this battle here. So Mumford was battling it out with Jared Fosbury for the 10th spot, but just lost a huge chunk of time, about 5 seconds, so he had a little bit of an off. Once again, riding on board with Fox as he tried to find a way around Felix Negwer's Ferrari. They both run very wide coming out of that corner. Going through the penultimate corner, and Fox is all over the gearbox of that Ferrari. He's going to have a real good shot at making a pass this time by. He can stick that close. DRS slot open. Going to try and make a move to the inside. Trying to keep it nice and tidy, but he can't get there. And again, Felix Negwer able to hold him off through the fast section of the course. And you head into sector 2 where it's very tight. The track narrows a little bit. The racing line gets a little narrower itself. You head through this very short straightaway into the chicane here. And it's very much single file through here. It's very hard to make a pass here. This is very much a rhythm section through Sector 2 and Sector 3. And once again, Fox very close to the gearbox of that Ferrari. Trying to get that power there, a little bit of snap over steer by Felix Negwer. Try and swing it wide, cut it back in. And a 3-second time penalty by Reese March, who's currently running in the 12th spot. Fox biding his time. I don't know if he's trying to pressure Negwer into a mistake, or if he just can't get the speed going down the front stretch to make it work. And James Hallworth picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently running in the 13th position. And now Paco Suarez picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently running in the 9th spot after he had made his massive mistake while battling with Felix Negwer for the 3rd spot. And Thomas Mumford picks up a 3-second time penalty, and Felix Negwer is going to dive into the pits. That'll hand over 3rd to Fox. Now Kevin Harrison is all over the back of James Yock for the 7th spot. This is your championship points leader. Working on the 7th position. Shouldn't be a problem for Harrison. Qualified in the back, which isn't unusual for Harrison. Harrison usually, we talked to him about it last week during an interview. He said he likes to qualify deep in the field and work his way forward. He runs alternate tire strategies to a lot of other players. Shay Fox just picked up a 3-second time penalty, though. And Harrison trying to do a crossover move. Got the DRS slot open. He's going to try and dive to the inside, and he does get to the inside of Mumford. I'm sorry, James Yock. They're both in the racing point, Mumford and Yock. And he's going to make that move heading into the turn 3 area. It's a great move by Kevin Harrison. He will move into 7th. Felix Negwer has pitted and come back out. He's currently running in the... Oh no, Paco Suarez just retired from the session. We'll pick up Thomas Mumford and see if we can find out where... See if we see Paco's car. And we've got ourselves a virtual safety car, and there it is. So Paco Suarez, who had a great qualifying effort, started in the 2nd spot. Ran up front for a little while, was battling for 3rd, made a mistake, dropped himself through the field. And now he has crashed out, and unfortunately that is going to be a league-leading 11th DNF of the year for Paco Suarez. So we've got guys under the virtual safety car diving into the pits. Eric Pettington is still your leader. He's followed by Callum Jones, who's followed by Shay Fox, who's followed by Jack Yates. Felix Negwer will move up into the 5th spot. Kevin Harrison will be in the 6th spot. Sean O'Sullivan, who, we're back to green. No, DRS is enabled. Some guys are still in the pits, as is O'Sullivan here, and James Yock, who just pulled away. This is Thomas Mumford coming across the front stretch now. So we do have a battle on our hands, and once again it is Felix Negwer finding himself being pursued by another driver. This is Jack Yates in the Alfa Romeo trying to pick up that 4th spot from Felix Negwer. These are 2 very fast drivers. A little bit of alternate tire strategy here. You see Jack Yates is on a fresh set of hards. Well, they're both on a fresh set of hards. This is your closest battle on track right now. So the virtual safety car didn't do a lot to bunch up the field like like an actual safety car would do, but that is once again too bad for Paco Suarez. He was actually showing a little bit of speed there. It looks like he was catching a battle in I think that's turn 4, turn 5 maybe, that uphill left-hander. It's a little bit blind going up the hill. You catch the curving wrong there, it'll swing the car into the fence. And that's what he did. He caught the arm tail and destroyed the front suspension. And no more Paco Suarez. And his abysmal season continues. Again, with his 11th DNF. We've got a yellow flag sector 2 now. And I don't know if you saw it there, but Felix Negwer just picked up a 3-second time penalty. We've got a battle going on here. This is, what has happened to Callum Jones? Lost the position here to Shay Fox. Difference in tires, maybe? Looks like there's some wing damage there. Oh, he's got wing damage on the left front. So your battle for 4th is now going to become the battle for 3rd once again. So Felix Negwer finds himself in a podium position, being chased by another driver. Lots to try and keep up with here, and Callum Jones is going to lose a bunch of spots. pitted from the 3rd spot. He is going to come out 10th. And Thomas Mumford and James Johnson's Racing Point cars battling each other for the 9th spot. We've still got this battle raging on here for 3rd and halfway through this race. So Eric Penton really was able to capitalize on that virtual safety car from Paco Suarez. He had a 5-second lead before the Suarez crash. After the virtual safety car and through the pit sequence, he's now been able to skip to the tune of 15 seconds. Well, 14 and a half seconds out in front of the Red Bull of Shea Fox here. Eric Penton cruising along, already coming up on some lap traffic. So Penton doesn't look like he's going to have any issues walking away with another win. Shea Fox currently running in 2nd spot. And then you've got this battle raging on here for 3rd. This is Felix Negwer in the Ferrari, followed by Jack Yates in the Alfa Romeo. Kevin Harrison has just dived into the pits. This is your championship points leader. And that's going to put Jared Fosbury in front of him. Now that is your championship points contender. That is 2nd in points. And he desperately needs to try and finish in front of Kevin Harrison. And Harrison is going to fall all the way back to the 10th spot. And we still have Thomas Mumford. Now this is Mumford he was battling it out with his teammate, but it looks like he got passed by Callum Jones in the Williams. Jones is on the move after making his pit stop, his scheduled pit stop. Kevin Harrison all the way back to 10th. Jared Fosbury 2nd in points. Oh, this is one of the Racing Points into the grass. That's Mumford. And now he's side by side and he's going to lose the position out to Kevin Harrison. So a mistake there by Thomas Mumford, and that's going to drop him a spot. And that almost ended in tears for him. The car almost came around on him. And Jared Fosbury into the 5th position. Kevin Harrison currently running at 9th. And if Fosbury wants any shot of trying to close the points gap, he's got to finish in front of Kevin Harrison. It is quite a gap, though. 258 points to Kevin Harrison's credit. 216 to Jared Fosbury. He's not mathematically out of this championship battle. And we've got a safety car. I'm going to have to imagine for the amount of debris on the track. And we've got Sandro Dulius joining us on the live chat, and he says he didn't know Reese was racing. Yes, Reese March from SRL, currently running in the 12th spot. Reese continuing to try and hone his craft on the wheel, struggling a little bit today. And he's going to dive into the pits under the safety car. And so is Eric Penton, working lap 20 of 35. We'll see how this safety car shakes things up here. We'll try and get some tire info after everybody's made their pit stops and switches over. You see Reese March coming out. He's a lap down to Eric Penton. That's Penton there in the factory Renault, number 24. You know, the safety car is out. I've yet to see the actual safety car, though. There it is. It does exist. Sandro does bring up a good point in the live chat. That is another thing that Reese March is actually trying to get used to is the manual gears on these cars. He was running pad with automatic, which as bad as I am at this game, that's something that I even wouldn't do. I've got to have manual gears in a game like this. It just gives you better control of the car. So he is struggling to try and learn the steering wheel, trying to learn the manual gears. But good to see him on track as things are getting bunched up here behind the safety car. I'm not sure why the safety car came out. It may have been from the amount of debris on the track. We've had an awful lot of contact, some broken wings, and then obviously Paco Suarez a couple laps ago went into the Armco coming out of turn 4. And James Hallworth picks up a 3-second time penalty. Not something that should happen under the safety car, James, but he is currently running in 12th behind Reese March. So this will bunch up the field. We'll be under the safety car for a few laps here. Eric Pettington had a 14.5-second lead over Shay Fox. The Fox is currently dropped to the 5th spot through the pit sequence. Felix Negwer, your F1 2017 champion, is now up into the 2nd spot. And Reese March has received a drive-through penalty thanks to the information being provided to me by Sandro Julius. Always good to have a driver watching the live stream. Always gives me a little bit more insight as to what's going on as I try to keep up with everything. So drive-through penalty for Reese March. Speeding under the safety car. And Felix Negwer moves into 2nd spot. He'll be followed by Jack Yates in the Alfa Romeo. That is your 3rd in points. James Jacques does find himself back in 4th spot. This has been a really good race for James Jacques. He qualified 5th, one of his best qualifying efforts of the year. Been an up and down day for him a little bit, but finds himself back in 4th. Shay Fox in the 5th spot. He'll be looking to try and work his way back through the field, get back up to that podium spot. And Kevin Harrison, unfortunately, that is your points leader, has managed to get back around Jared Fosbury, your championship points contender, 2nd in points. Sean O'Sullivan's been a little quiet during this race. It looks like he finally did get them pedals fixed. He was fastest for a long time in qualifying. Was your provisional pole sitter down to the last couple minutes. Was on a hot lap when his pedals became uncalibrated from his rig and his car parked in a dangerous area. They disqualified him for parking in a dangerous area during qualifying. So he started all the way in the back of the field, finds himself in 8th. And Callum Jones making his IRL F2 debut. And the safety car is going to be in this lap. We'll pick up Eric Pettington. And he is dangerously slow, almost bringing the grid to a halt. I'm pretty sure that's frowned upon a little bit. And Eric Pettington will be off to the races. Felix Negwer got 2 cars in front of him that are not going to be in a battle. That is Reese March and James Hallworth. So back under green. We're going to pick up this championship battle here. Jared Fosbury trying to find a way around his championship rival Kevin Harrison in the Alfa Romeo. Here we go. We've got a couple of guys going around some of the lap traffic. We've got Shay Fox trying to find his way around James Jacques. As you see these lap cars trying to get out of the way. I think everybody's done a good job so far underneath this restart to try to avoid any contact with them. Very narrow track here at Hungary. One of the more traditional tracks on the F1 calendar these days. And you see Reese March trying to get out of the way of all these hard-charging guys on the lead lap. And James Jacques, looks like he's holding up the line here just a little bit. So Shay Fox can drop on board with him real quick. It's not going to be close enough to make a move. Deep on the brakes, maybe try a crossover move, or is he going to stick it to the outside? Stays on the outside. Oh, but here comes Harrison. And Harrison dives to the inside. Fox is going to try and come back, but he's not going to be able to get there. And here comes Fosbury. Heading up to the top of the hill. This could get really tight through here. Fosbury now finding himself a couple of positions behind Kevin Harrison. We'll pick up Kevin Harrison. Harrison trying to work on James Young for that 4th spot. That's Shay Fox behind him, followed by Jared Fosbury. This is 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, 4-car battle. Harrison gets a good run coming out of the corner. He's going to have the DRS advantage. Yock's going to try and take away that defensive line. He's going to make Harrison go to the outside. And around the outside, Harrison will go. Felix Negwer trying to pull away. Oh no, there's a little bit of contact between Harrison and Yock. And James Yock tries to hang tough on the outside, but he's going to lose the position out. And now it's Alfa Romeo running 3rd and 4th. And now Shay Fox is going to be trying to work on the backside of James Yock's racing point. We get a yellow flag, sector 2. Oh, and it's James Hallworth, and it looks like he's done for the day. He's gone off somewhere. And the safety car is out once again. Pick up Reese March here, see if we can see where James Hallworth went off, and it's probably going to be at the top of the hill here. This is where Paco Suarez crashed. Coming up to this blind left-hander. And it's exactly the same spot as Paco Suarez. Exactly the same spot. So safety car out again, and unfortunately that is another DNF for James Hallworth. He was having a, well, I don't want to say a great run, but he was running relatively well. Maybe it was in the back, but he was stayed out of the way for the most part. Now, Hallworth doesn't make a whole lot of races. And you see Eric Pettington picking up the safety car. But it's been a long time since James Hallworth has had a DNF, it looks like. This is going to bunch up the field again. Now, it'll be interesting to see that Jack Yates is currently running in 3rd. He's also 3rd in points. Now, your championship points leader is his teammate, Kevin Harrison, will be right behind him. It'll be interesting to see if there's any team orders between these two to let Harrison go by to help him spread that gap. But there could be some mixed emotions there because the leader, Eric Pettington, who's only a part-time driver but has F1 caliber speed, has been able to close in the points gap to 3rd, which is Jack Yates. So Jack Yates with 199 points sitting in 3rd spot in the point standings. Eric Pettington with 170. So Yates is trying to hold on to his 3rd spot, so he may not give up that position to Kevin Harrison. And being that Jared Fosbury is all the way down in 7th, I don't think that Harrison will be giving, I don't think Yates will be giving Harrison any breaks. But you never know. So we're going to be under the safety car for at least one more lap. Eric Pettington, who is led from pole, came here with his 5th pole position of the year. He's been leading since the green flag. He's followed by Felix Negwer, F1 2017 champion in the Ferrari. And it's Jack Yates, currently sitting 3rd in points, followed by championship points leader Kevin Harrison in 4th. James Yock once again finds himself in the 5th spot. A good run for him today. Can he keep it up? He's followed by Shay Fox, who is coming off of 3 straight podium finishes. He'll be looking to try and make it a 4th once we get back under green. Jared Fosbury is going to be looking to try and close that gap, though, to the points leader, see if he can work his way back to the field. And Sondre Sorhaug, who started dead last, been a little quiet today on track, up into the 8th spot. Callum Jones, who started in 3rd, and been up and down day for him, running in 9th. Thomas Mumford has also had an up and down day, running in 10th. That rounds out your top 10 points paying position so far. Reese March is currently in the 12th spot. I'm sorry, the 11th spot, 1 lap down. And Ali Fava would like to see tire data, and here is your tire data. Looks like Reese March just pitted for softs. Everybody else is on the medium tire, and everybody's got around the same amount of laps with the exception of James Yack, who is currently running in 5th. He's got 11 laps on his tires. The only person with tires... Now, Thomas Mumford came in and switched over to softs. He's got a fresh set of softs on his. Kevin Harrison has got 8 laps on his medium tires. Everybody else has 6. You see the position changes. Your driver on the move today was Jack Yates. And we are green, green, green. And James Yack immediately loses a position or two to Shay Fox and Jared Fosbury. They go side by side to make a little bit of contact. Fosbury manages to get around him, but he gets a little bit of the chrome horn. They're side by side. Is this going to be tough going up here? Oh, a little too much curving there. A very dangerous corner at the top of that hill. 2 cars have wrecked there today already, almost a third. And it is a scuffle back here. Seventh, 8th, 9th, and 10th. And Eric Pettington on that lap scooted away to 1.5 second gap over Felix Negwer, running in the 2nd spot. He's followed by Jack Yates, followed by Kevin Harrison. And again, no position change there from the Alfa Romeos. Shay Fox is going to be looking to try and close that gap a little bit. And look at this, Callum Jones has moved into the 7th spot. He's gotten around James Yack. Yack picks up a 3-second time penalty. Six laps to go. What has been a pretty exhilarating race. Mid-pack on. And Shay Fox trying to close that gap down to Kevin Harrison. And I got a feeling that Jared Fosbury is hoping that if Shay Fox can get around him, the DRS is going to be enabled this time by. There goes Pettington, followed by Felix Negwer. Then the 2 Alfa Romeos. Third, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
And a yellow flag, sector 2. That's going to be O'Sullivan. Oh, and that's Reese March. I don't know if March was involved in that or if it was just a byproduct. And Sean O'Sullivan has just called it a day and has retired from this session, which is good news for Reese March. He'll be able to finish in the points. Now, it'll be interesting to see where the game puts O'Sullivan's car. And O'Sullivan, unfortunately, has rage quit with 5 laps to go in this race. I know the race did not go the way you wanted, son, but... Oh, look at this. A little bit of team orders. Jack Yates hands over the 3rd spot to Kevin Harrison. and lets him go. So now the battle for fourth is going to be between Shay Fox and Jack Yates.
And Thomas Mumford, well, you can read what Thomas Mumford wrote. No need for that to be broadcast. So Shay Fox is going to try and work his way around Jack Yates.
Now Fox was working on getting a fourth podium in a row. Now he's running out of laps to try and get that done. He's going to have to work his way around Jack Yates, who's proven to be very quick. Going to try a crossover move, but Jared Fosbury's right there to get the power back. Then he's going to have the DRS advantage. Yates has got the more preferred line heading into the corner, but Fox has got more speed. Deep on the brakes goes Yates. Not going to be able to hold it off, and now Shay Fox finds himself in fourth spot. And Fox is going to be pushing hard to try and get to the backside of Kevin Harrison's Alfa Romeo. He's going to want that third spot. He wants to keep this podium streak going. Meanwhile, Jared Fosbury finds himself in the backside of Jack Yates' car. And Yates is probably going to try and hold up Fosbury, I would imagine, a little bit. And unfortunately, at this point, I think Fosbury can feel the championship slipping away from him at this point. I mean, he basically congratulated Kevin Harrison last week during an interview on winning the championship. He pretty much conceded the championship. Didn't think he would have enough for him going into the last few races of this year, especially with Eric Pettington on track. Pettington's going to be walking away with the wins while everybody else is going to be running for second. But props to Kevin Harrison. Harrison's actually on the move. He's actually closing that gap down to Felix Negwer for second spot. And Shay Fox is losing time to Kevin Harrison. So if Fox feels his fourth podium in a row slipping away from him, and Harrison is now under a second to Felix Negwer. A yellow flag sector 2, and that is Jared Fosbury, who was battling it out with Jack Yates, and Fosbury is going to call it a day. Obviously some frustration there from Jared Fosbury. That is not like him to rage quit. Been a rough few weeks for him. And his car will park there. So that will all but do it in for Jared Fosbury and his defending of the title. Kevin Harrison, currently running in third and trying to find his way into second, will pretty much lock up this championship. And a 3-second time penalty from Eric Pettington. And I think that might be the second time penalty Pettington's picked up. And he just cut that corner again, so it looks like Eric Pettington maybe, even though he's on track, maybe he's, we talked about it earlier, how fast he is. Maybe he's giving these guys a little bit of grace and cutting these corners to let the battle for the win rage on. I mean, as it stands, Felix Negwer, I don't think Felix Negwer has a time penalty, and he could walk away with a win.
Eric Penton coming across the line to start the last lap. He just ran the fastest lap at a 1:18.308, but we did see him cut in the corner to make that happen. And Reese March finds himself running in 9th now due to the DNFs. Yellow flag sector 3. Not sure who that would be. And Eric Penton again cutting the corner there. So would it'd be interesting to see what Penton's strategy is here. We talked about the double-edged sword with having him run in F2 because he is so fast. He could clearly be in the F1 league. He's going to come across the line as your winner, but I think the time penalties could hand this thing over to Felix Negwer, so we'll see what happens here. Eric Penton coming across the line. He'll be followed by Felix Negwer. And Negwer and Kevin Harrison is actually going to be your winner. Looks like Negwer did have some penalties as well, so unbelievable. Kevin Harrison finds himself as the winner due to time penalties. Jack Yates is 4th. Shay Fox will be 5th. What a crazy way to end a race. James Yock will be coming across the line. He's coming through the penultimate corner now. So Callum Jones is 6th, Thomas Mumford 7th, James Yock coming across in the 8th spot, and Reese March finds himself in the points in 9th. So, what a weird finish to this race. Sorry the call there wasn't as more energetic as it usually is, but I want to get Eric Penton in here, and obviously we'll try to talk with Kevin Harrison about his win. And clearly we'll talk to Felix Negwer. So Kevin Harrison celebrating another victory. It's been a little while since he's had one. Eric Penton's been taking them from everybody. We've had a few other drivers win here recently. So here's your finishing order. This is Kevin Harrison, followed by Eric Penton, followed by Felix Negwer, Jack Yates coming up in 4th, Shay Fox is 5th, Callum Jones in his IRL F2 debut 6th, Thomas Mumford is 7th, James Yock 8th, Reese March 9th, and then 10th through 13th is all DNFs. That's Jared Fosbury, Sean O'Sullivan, James Holworth, and Paco Suarez. And we are going to try and get Felix, Eric, and Kevin in here for some interviews, so hang tight. I don't know why I can't see Felix. So we'll get Eric in here. I think Eric, I'm not friends with Kevin Harrison. There's Felix Negwer.
Good day.
Well, Felix, I thought you had a win there for a hot second, but looks like time penalties got the best of you on that one. Came home 3rd, second podium of the year for you. That was a pretty weird race there towards the end, and a couple of safety cars. Did it go the way you expected?
not gonna lie, the safety car screwed me over quite a lot.
Who are you talking to?
No, I think the first VSC obviously cost me P2
Yo, can you
first
guys
of
hear
all
me?
against
Yeah.
Fishy, I think it was.
Alright.
And then afterwards,
do we wait
the
for
first
Kevin?
safety car actually was alright.
Oh.
But then, you know, I tried to get the gap to Jack because I
Oh,
knew
what
he
is
didn't
going
have a
on now?
penalty. Which I got then. I was like
Hold on, Aaron.
1.7 seconds in front of him.
Right.
And then, then the safety car came out again. And I gotta say, fair play to Kevin. He had a lot of luck, not gonna lie, but he was very quick in that last, stint when the safety car came in again. And he deserved that win in the end. But yeah.
And Eric, no, I would need you to suggest Kevin for me.
Okay.
And Eric, I definitely want to talk to you about your race strategy. Little odd there, a couple of times cutting the chicane. I mean, was that on purpose?
Yeah. I mean, if the game decides to put safety cars in the end, and I know I don't have any chance of winning the race, so I don't give a. I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't give a flying shit if I finish P2 and P3 after leading the whole race. Just I don't care if it's P2, P3 or last place. Yeah. I mean, Kevin deserved the title, but he didn't deserve the win. That's plain and simple.
So why cut so many corners, though?
In the end, to try somehow to win. In the end, like I knew I didn't have any chance. So I was like, yeah, why the fuck we weren't even trying out? Let's try it out. Like,
but you have so much speed in comparison to some of the other drivers. I mean, it's been a common knowledge that your F1 speed has been a little bit of a sore point for some of the drivers in the league, but I mean, it's kind of a catch-22 because we want to have you on track to keep the car count up, but some of the drivers, you know, don't want your F1 speed to take away the wins. I mean, but you definitely had enough speed there, even under the safety car, to walk away with that win. I mean, you were scooting away a second and a half. Then I got a
6-second penalty. When I got the second penalty, I knew that was it. We were in the party, those guys. I knew Kevin had 0 penalties. Felix had 3 seconds. I was like, yeah, I can cut the corner 2 more times. And I asked Jared. Jared said it's perfectly legal to do it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Because somehow I had to try to win. Because I knew
so the time penalties that you did get were inadvertently gotten. You weren't trying to...
Yeah, that was mistakes. Those were mistakes. Those were just drawing mistakes.
Okay. It's all coming together.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get Kevin in here and talk to him about, I'm sure, what is an unexpected win, but... And this all but locks up the championship for him. Jared Fosbury expressing some frustration with one of the Williams, drove himself into the wall and basically rage quit. Too bad for him. Will not be able to defend his F2 title. But speaking, I mean, you and Felix, you both have F1 caliber drivers here in the interview. I mean, are you guys... I know it was scheduling conflict with F1, so I mean, should we expect you guys in F2 again next year?
I think I will stay in F2 because obviously, like I said, I can't do Saturdays like the F1 times. Can't do that sadly. But if my pace doesn't massively improve and I'm not too quick, which I think is not the case, at least today, because Kevin had the same pace as me, I think I will be able to stay in F2.
And Eric, I mean, I know you have basketball obligations throughout the course of the rest of the year, but I mean, is that going to interfere with you trying to do F1 next year, or can we expect you back in F2 as well?
Well, I don't know. The next season starts in August, and I don't know when we are going to start the new season of IRL. It all depends basically on the schedules, which I will literally find out in August. So, I don't know. The games change and times change, so... Yeah, I can't comment on that one just yet.
And Kevin Harrison, we have you with us. Congratulations on what I feel was probably an unexpected win for you, and ultimately the championship win at the end of the day. Take us through the last little bit of that race. Did you? I knew you knew time penalties were an issue. Did you think you were going to come across with a win?
Well, I mean, I knew I'd get second because I was following Felix and catching him all of like the last few laps. My teammate let me through. You probably saw that on stream because I had to not finish for him to stay in, and I didn't look like I was going to not finish, so he let me through, and then I could start catching the top two, which I did, and didn't really expect the win until I heard that Eric got his second penalty, and then I was like, well, I mean, I've got not even a warning all race, so I doubt that I'm going to end up with a penalty before the end, and yeah, I ended up with the win.
And ultimately, that locks up the championship for you as well. So, there was a little bit of speculation for me when you guys were running third and fourth. I mean, was there any talk prior to the race between you and Jack about letting you by, or it was an on-track decision made on the whim?
Yeah, it was on track. I mean, I got behind them and I was just kind of saying, well, Jack, like, what do we do in this situation? We haven't talked about it, and he just kind of said if I want to get past, then I should just ask. And into turn one, I saw that he wouldn't lose too much time if I got past him there. So, I mean, yeah, I just kind of waited till he didn't lose too much time, and I didn't lose any time myself, obviously. So, yeah.
Well,
I think it was the best result overall for both of us.
Well, the speculation for me was that, I mean, you now locked up the championship ultimately, so you're going to be fine. But now Jack is actually in danger of losing the third spot in the championship points to Eric, since Eric has been so fast and he's been able to close that points gap. I mean, going in, it was only a 29-point shift. I mean, now Jack is in danger of losing that third spot. So will there be a little bit of role reversal as we come to the closing end of the races? Are you going to be able to swap positions with him to try and see if maybe he can keep that third spot over Eric?
Well, actually, today he's caught a lot on Jared because he's had an unfortunate incident. I don't really know what happened there, but he has caught a lot today on Jared. I mean, obviously, today he did that, which ultimately let me catch back up to the top two, and in a way did win me the championship. So, I mean, I would do the same for him in reverse. And I mean, I've nothing to lose anymore. He does. I mean, he can get P2 or he can lose P3. So, yeah, I'd say I would do the same for him in the last two races.
Well, congratulations to all the drivers. I mean, Eric Penton walking away with his 8th podium of the season, Felix Negwer with his 2nd, and Kevin, I mean, this is a long-awaited win for you. The last time you won was quite some time ago.
Yeah, back in Abu Dhabi, I got 4 wins in a row, and it just kind of went away, and I was wondering when it would come again, and came today.
So yeah, that is your 5th win of the season, and yeah, back around 10 at Abu Dhabi was the last time you won at Yas Marina. So, and moving forward, next week we will be at it again, the penultimate round of the season, February 16th at Germany at Hockenheim. Moving forward, guys, how is Hockenheim for everybody? That's kind of a stadium track. It's a little bit narrow, kind of like Hungary. I mean, Eric, how do you think you'll be faring out at Hockenheim?
Pretty same than most of the tracks this season. Now, very easy to corner cut, so that's still one thing need to focus on for not corner cutting, but if we can avoid them, then I think we can fight for the wins.
And Felix, how do you usually do at Hockenheim? I think that's one of your better tracks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Hockenheim, I enjoy it. Obviously motivates me even more to the fact that it's my home track. Want to do well there, and hoping to pick up another podium would be nice. I can't really, do much in the championship. I can't really move up by too many positions, I think, but a podium would be nice.
And Kevin, I mean, with the championship at hand, I mean, there's no pressure on you at Hockenheim. I mean, will you try any anything different as far as a different type of setup, just to try and play around with the car a little bit, or a different type of strategy, or just go about it like business as usual?
I think I'd say business as usual, just kind of do what I always do. Don't really need to change anything, no need to change anything, so yeah.
Well, absolutely. Congratulations to all three of our drivers on their podium finishes, and Kevin Harrison with a win and a championship essentially at this point. I don't think Jared is mathematically out of it. Actually, I think he might be at this point.
I needed 11 points on him today, and obviously.
So this is all but wrapped up. So your F2 champion for F1 2019, Kevin Harrison, with an unbelievable season so far. Still 2 rounds to go. So February 16th will be Germany, and then Brazil will finish it out for F1 2019 on February 23rd. So congratulations to Kevin Harrison, Eric Pettington, Felix Negwer on their wins or podiums, and your F1 2019 F2 championship here in IRL is your winner, Kevin Harrison. But there's still points up for grab and spots up for grab between the top 3. Well, from second to third, actually second to fourth, Jared Fosbury, Jack Yates, and Eric Pettington still battling it out for second, third, and fourth in points, especially after today and Jared Fosbury quitting. And Felix, not all hope is lost for you, because 6th through 9th in the point standings are all drivers that are no longer with F2. So there is some room to maybe move up if you do get a couple of podium finishes.
Yeah, well, okay, if you say that, then obviously I'll try my best. Podiums are always nice, but it's going to be difficult, especially in Brazil. I think Germany, like I said, could be good, but Brazil is going to be difficult because it's one of my worst tracks. But let's see how it will be.
Well, we certainly look forward to that. So, guys, like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Be sure to check us out online, internationalracingleague-irl.com. You can also check us out on Twitter at F1_IRL for more news and notes. Be sure to check us out next week. We'll be doing round 20 at Germany. Same IRL time, same IRL channel. We'll see you at the next round.